We live in a consumer economy where we're constantly taught to spend money and upgrade to bigger and better things. And as we approach the holiday season, we see that a lot more. The holiday seasons in general has been very commercialized in a way where it's really for the benefit of all the big companies, right? Like they want to get you in the mood to justify your spending, right? Like we have this big sale, and if you don't get it now, you're gonna miss this great deal, and then you'll never get this chance ever again. So like we live in an economy, we live in a society where we live on instant gratification, and we are trained to think that instant gratification comes from spending the money and acquiring things. So I think as we approach the holiday season, I just think it's kind of like the right time for me to talk about why I stopped buying stuff in the recent few years and what my philosophies are when it comes to like spending money and ownership of things. So the first major reason why I stopped buying things is like I believe that everything has a purpose in life, and if you buy things that you don't necessarily use or need in your life, it's a waste of space. And I think everything takes up mental and physical space in your life. You have to take care of the things that you own. So the more you own, the more drained you'll be at the end of the day because you're putting energy into it, right? Like you are spending energy to maintain and manage the things that you own. So like in this case, I really think about like the quality of life over the quantity of things that you acquire. Will owning more things make me happier? Not necessarily, because I get stressed because I have trouble, like the more things I have, the more trouble I have staying organized. And that is especially true, I think, as you go on with life and make more money and achieve a certain lifestyle and can afford things that you couldn't afford before. So like be mindful of that lifestyle inflation, because I think as you make more money and start living the lifestyle that you wish, that you aspire to, and you start acquiring more things, just be mindful that it will add stress onto your life. Like, and that's especially true when you make big purchases like cars and properties, like the more cars you own or the more real estate property you own, that's a lot of energy that goes into maintaining and managing these properties. And even just luxury items too, like you don't think about it, but the luxury items need maintenance too. Like for example, like Birkin bags or like mink coats. Like to my knowledge, to my understanding, like mink coats, obviously they're real fur, right? And like Birkin bags, a lot of luxury expensive items, like they're genuine leather. And like, you see on like social media or on Instagram, YouTube, that they are stored in in a very pretty closet, whatever. That's not coincidence. Like genuine goods, leather or mink, they have to be stored at a certain temperature or humidity to preserve the material. There's a lot that goes into maintaining things, and that is especially true when it comes to like bigger ticket items. The more expensive things are, the more maintenance they require. And just going back to the whole car example, like the more expensive your car is, the maintenance on that gets more expensive too. Like everything grows exponentially, right? Like a little Toyota Corolla, like the service on like oil change is what, like I don't know, it's like maybe $100. But then if you own like a Lambo, you really think the service on that's gonna be $100? No, like I don't know how many times that, I don't know how much it costs because I don't own a Lambo, I don't know, but I know it's not $100, okay? So the number two reason why I stopped buying things over the past few years is because I really start to ask myself, like, what was the reason why I was spending so much money? Because I was spending so much money on like these fast fashion websites. You know those, you know who those are, like those cheap clothes you get a dress for $10. I love clothes, okay? And I love these affordable clothes because it's like I could get so much bang for my buck. But over the years, I stopped buying them because number one, like I bought so much, I don't get to wear every single outfit that I planned out in my head when I was purchasing them, okay? So that was so wasteful, and looking back, I wasted so much money, and I regret that. Like I wish I just saved up that money. But anyways, I started to dig deeper into the psychology of me wanting to buy things. So like, I think with us all, like we buy things for a very simple reason. Like we buy things because we think that these things or owning these things that we're spending money on can bring us happiness. But I realized that a lot of us buy things that we don't need. Yes, like we might get that instant gratification the moment that we bought them, like we felt really happy about our purchase, but then afterwards, like how long did you use it? Like how long did you use that espresso machine that you thought you were gonna use to make coffee every morning? How long did you really use that purse that you thought went with every outfit? That item no longer brings us as much happiness as it did when we first purchased it. If you don't keep on giving it a purpose, if you don't keep on using it, then it stops giving us that joy, right? Or maybe you buy things because you're trying to keep up with your social circle, right? And that's normal. It's like all your friends have luxury cars and jewelry and clothes, and you want to have good things too. And there's nothing wrong with having good things. Like I had plenty of designer shoes that I sold. The main point is if you use them, then that's fine. We're talking about redundant things that you buy and don't use, and you're just buying it for the pure initial instant gratification of owning that item. That is not good. So as I went on with life, I realized that the things I was buying really didn't bring me lasting happiness. I was happier with the money that was sitting in my bank account that I saved. So whenever I log into my bank account and see that I didn't spend the money and there is money sitting in the bank account, like that makes me happy. Like that made me, like that actually brought me lasting joy than like ownership of things. And I also got like more cynical over the years as I gotten older too when it comes to money. Like I think about like why are we, like the people, footing the bills all the time, right? Like when we make money, we pay taxes. When we spend money, we pay taxes. When we sell things, we pay taxes. Like, so that kind of just puts me in a very like sour mood. Like, okay, I'm never gonna spend a dime, a penny on anything because it's like we can never win. Like the government always wins, the IRS always wins. They just always be taking our money and like we can never win. So it's like, so that kind of puts me in that mindset. It's like, okay, I have to preserve what I have. I have to hold on to what I have. I'm not saying you have to do that, but I'm just giving you my perspective of things, of like what my idea or my like philosophy when it comes to spending money is, or holding on to money is like I'm just trying to hold on to as much as I can and not give into temptation, because I just feel like we can never win and we're like taken advantage of in a way. At this stage in my life, I already went through my like crazy spending phases, and now I appreciate money more and I take money more seriously now. So like holding on to my money actually brings me more joy than buying things. So really figure out why you're spending money. Like, are you bored? Are you lonely? If you're bored, maybe find some shows to watch on TV, you know, or like go out for a walk or run. I mean, I know that's kind of ambitious. I don't even do that. Like, I'm trying to do physical exercise just because I'm bored. But like, I don't know, like, are you lonely? Like, you know, just like figure out the emotions that you are going through while you're making purchases. And I think it's like, society makes it so easy nowadays to make purchases too, right? It's like online, like you don't even need to go anywhere. You just log into your cell phone that you have with you all the time to like check out. That's why you have to be extra mindful of why you're buying things. What's the purpose behind you going through that action? And like what are the emotions that you carry with you as you're spending money? Once you understand the mental and emotional state that you're going through when you're spending money, then you can understand how to substitute and fill that void. And the last reason why I stopped buying things over the past few years is because I think it's such a big commitment to own things. Like, I think it kind of like ties back to the first, it's like a point that we talked about just now, is that like owning things is a responsibility. You have to maintain and manage and make sure it's in good shape. You have to clean it. You have to organize it, make sure it has a space in your life. Like, it's a big commitment to own things. And then like you're responsible for it, right? You're the owner, you're responsible for it. And then I think about like, okay, like honestly, like I have so much stuff like that I bought over the past few years that I don't need or I don't use, and it's just sitting there. And then whenever I see it, I'm like, oh gosh, I really like, what do I do with it, right? Like that's the next stage. That's the next product life cycle. It's like, what do I do with it? Do you give it away? Donate it? Throw it away? Like, I've gotten to the point where like, okay, I really need to throw away things I no longer use. Everything in my space needs to have a purpose. Like I have to use it for me to keep it. And if I no longer use it, I need to get rid of it. Having things in my space I don't use is stressful to me. And and because making a purchase such a big commitment, I do a lot of like research and homework before I buy something. For example, like I bought this iPad recently because I think it's a great product. Like I could get a lot of use out of this and it's great. But then but you have to remember, like there's always bigger and better things coming out every year. But now I'm like, oh, I should have waited because now they have iPads with better cameras and bigger storage. And now I really want the iPad with the bigger storage and better camera because I'm like, I could get so much more out of that, you know? But then it's like, if I get that new iPad and upgrade, what do I do with this one? Like, do I get rid of it? No, because I can still use it. Like there's still so much use for this. Like there's so much life left. And I think that's part of the consequences that comes with product ownership of physical things, is that you will desire and crave better things. But then like, what do you do with the things that you already own? Like you have to figure out what to do with the things that you already own to acquire bigger, better things. Because I'm a strong believer that you have to make room in your life for better things to come. So those are my philosophy when it comes to buying things, spending money, and living in a consumer economy. And it's okay to spend money. I'm not trying to say that like don't ever buy anything ever again, but just be mindful of the things that you bring into your physical space. Be mindful of not to spend money on instant gratification. Like buy things that actually brings you lasting joy that you will use for a long time, that will help you out in the long run. My name is Xiao and I'm your bougie minimalist. I wish you happy, healthy, wealthy, wise. I'll talk to you soon.